As we stand on the brink of a new year, 2025, I want to ask you a question that will define the next 365 days of your life. Why? Why do you wake up every morning? Why do you push through the challenges? Why do you dream, strive, and fight for something greater? Start with why. Understand your deeper purpose. Why do you do what you do? Why do you wake up every morning, face the challenges, and push through the obstacles? Is it for the money, the fame, the recognition? Or is it something deeper, something that stirs your soul and ignites your passion? Let me tell you this, your why is your anchor. It's the reason you keep going when everything around you feels like it's falling apart. It's the fire that fuels your determination, the compass that guides your decisions, and the light that keeps you moving forward, even in the darkest of times. Think about it. Why do some people achieve extraordinary things while others settle for mediocrity? It's not because they're smarter, stronger, or luckier. It's because they've tapped into their why. They've connected their work to a purpose that's bigger than themselves. They're not just working for a paycheck. They're working for a mission, a vision, a dream that sets their heart on fire. And here's the thing, when you know your why, the how becomes easier. The challenges, they become stepping stones. The failures, they become lessons. The hard work, it becomes a labor of love. Because when you're connected to your purpose, you're unstoppable. You're not just going through the motions, you're creating a legacy. So ask yourself, what is your why? What is the deeper reason behind your goals, your dreams, your hustle? Is it to provide for your family, to make a difference in the world, to prove to yourself that you're capable of greatness? Whatever it is, hold on to it. Let it be your driving force. Let it remind you why you started in the first place. Because here's the truth. When you work with a why, you're like a ship without a rudder drifting aimlessly at the mercy of the waves. But when you work with a why, you're a force to be reckoned with. You're focused, determined, and unstoppable. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. So this year, don't just work hard, work with purpose. Dig deep and find your why. Let it guide you, inspire you, and push you to be the best version of yourself. Because when you know your why, you'll find the strength to keep going no matter what. And that, my friends, is where true success begins. Embrace the journey. Success isn't just about the destination. What if I told you that success isn't just about the end result? What if I told you that the real magic lies in the journey itself, the ups, the downs, the twists, and the turns? Would you believe me? Or would you dismiss it as just another cliche? Let me ask you this, when you look back on your life, what do you want to remember? The moment you achieved your goal, or the person you became along the way? The destination or the lessons you learned? The growth you experienced, and the resilience you built? Here's the truth. The journey is where life happens. It's where you discover your strengths, confront your weaknesses, and uncover parts of yourself you never knew existed. It's where you fall, get back up, and realize you're stronger than you thought. It's where you learn to appreciate the small victories, the quiet moments, and the progress that no one else sees. But why is it so hard to embrace the journey? Why do we rush through it, always chasing the next milestone, the next achievement, the next big thing? Is it because we're afraid of failure, afraid of the unknown, afraid of what we might discover about ourselves along the way? Let me tell you something. The journey is not the obstacle, it's the opportunity. It's your chance to grow, to evolve, to become the person you were meant to be. It's your chance to build character, to develop resilience, and to create a story worth telling. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how quickly you reach your destination, it's about who you become in the process. Think about it. When you climb a mountain, is it just about reaching the summit? Or is it about the struggle, the perseverance, the breathtaking views along the way? When you write a book, is it just about holding the finished product in your hands? Or is it about the late nights, the rewrites, the moments of doubt and triumph? This year, I challenge you to embrace the journey, celebrate the small wins, learn from the setbacks. Find joy in the process, not just the outcome, because here's the thing, the journey is where you find yourself. It's where you discover what you're truly made of. It's where you create memories, build resilience, and craft a life that's rich with meaning and purpose. So, Don't just rush to the finish line. Slow down. Take it all in. Embrace the challenges, the lessons, and the growth. Because when you look back, you'll realize that the journey wasn't just a means to an end, it was the most beautiful part of the story. And that, my friends, is where true success lies. Silence is power. Let your results speak louder than your words. Have you ever noticed how the loudest people in the room are often the ones who've accomplished the least? They boast, they brag, they demand attention, but what have they actually achieved? Now, think about the quiet ones, the ones who don't seek the spotlight, who don't feel the need to prove themselves. What do they have in common? They let their results do the talking. Why is silence so powerful? Why does it command respect, admiration, and even awe? Because silence is not empty, it's full of intention, focus, and discipline. It's the space where real work happens. It's where dreams are built, goals are pursued, and greatness is forged. But here's the challenge in a world that's constantly shouting for attention. How do you stay silent? How do you resist the urge to announce your plans, to seek validation, to prove your worth? It's not easy, is it? We live in a culture that glorifies noise, social media, instant gratification, the need to be seen and heard. But what if I told you that true power lies in silence? What if I told you that the quieter you become, the more you can hear your intuition, your purpose, your inner voice? Let me ask you this. When was the last time you worked on something without telling anyone? When was the last time you let your actions speak for themselves? There's something incredibly empowering about working in silence. It's like planting a seed and nurturing it in secret, knowing that one day it will grow into something extraordinary. And when it does, the world will take notice not because you told them to, but because they can't ignore the results. Think about it. The most influential people in history didn't shout their plans from the rooftops. They didn't seek approval or validation. They simply worked quietly, diligently, relentlessly. And when their work finally came to light, it spoke volumes, it inspired, it transformed, it changed the world. So this year, I challenge you to embrace the power of silence. Stop announcing your goals. Stop seeking external validation. Instead, focus on the work. Let your efforts speak for themselves. Let your results tell the story. Because here's the truth, your work in silence will always be louder than your words. It will always be more impactful, more authentic, and more inspiring. Silence is not weakness, it's strength. It's the mark of someone who's confident in their abilities, focused on their purpose, and committed to their craft. So don't just talk about your dreams, work on them. Don't just tell people what you're going to do, show them what you've done. And when the time comes, let your success echo so loudly that it leaves everyone in awe. Because at the end of the day, actions will always speak louder than words, and the quieter you are, the louder they'll be. Consistency over intensity. Small efforts compound into extraordinary results. What's more powerful, a single moment of intense effort or a series of small, consistent actions? Think about it. We live in a world that glorifies the big, dramatic gestures, the overnight success, the viral moment, the explosive breakthrough. But what if I told you that real success doesn't happen overnight? What if I told you that it's the small, consistent efforts, the ones no one sees, that truly change the game? Why do we chase intensity? Why do we think that working harder for a day, a week, or a month will magically transform our lives? Is it because we're impatient? Because we want quick results? Because we're afraid of the long, slow grind? But here's the truth. Intensity fades. Consistency lasts. Intensity burns out. Consistency builds. Intensity is a sprint. Consistency is a marathon. Now let me ask you this. What's more impressive, someone who works out for 5 hours in a single day and then quits, or someone who works out for 30 minutes every day for a year? Who do you think will see real results? Who do you think will build lasting habits? Who do you think will transform their life? The answer is obvious, isn't it? Consistency wins every time. It's not about how much you do in one day. It's about what you do every day. It's not about the grand gestures, it's about the small, repeated actions that compound over time. Because here's the secret, small efforts, when done consistently, create extraordinary results. Think about it. Writing 1 page a day turns into a book in a year. Saving 10 a day turns into 10 a day turns into 3,650 in a year. Practicing a skill for 15 minutes a day turns into mastery over time. It's not glamorous. It's not exciting, but it works. And that's the beauty of consistency. It's predictable, reliable, and unstoppable. But here's the challenge. Consistency requires patience. It requires discipline. It requires you to show up even when you don't feel like it, even when no one is watching, even when the results aren't immediate. And that's hard, isn't it? It's hard to stay committed when you can't see the finish line. It's hard to keep going when the progress feels slow. But let me tell you this, the magic is in the mundane. The magic is in showing up day after day and doing the work. It's in trusting the process even when it feels like nothing is happening. Because here's the truth. Every small effort is a brick in the foundation of your success. And over time, those bricks will build something extraordinary. So this year, don't chase intensity. Don't burn yourself out trying to do everything at once. Instead, focus on consistency. Take small, deliberate steps every day. Trust that those steps will add up. Trust that the compound effect will work in your favor. And when you look back, you'll realize that the small, consistent efforts were the ones that changed everything. Because at the end of the day, success isn't about how hard you work in a day. It's about how consistently you work over time. And that's where the real power lies. Trust the process, stay committed, even when no one is watching. What do you do when no one is watching? Do you cut corners? Do you slack off? Or do you dig deeper, push harder, and stay true to your purpose? Let me tell you this, the seeds you plant in silence will always bear fruit, but only if you trust the process. Why do we struggle to stay committed when the world isn't applauding? Why do we doubt ourselves when results don't come overnight? Is it because we've been conditioned to crave instant gratification, to measure success in likes, views, or viral moments? But here's the truth. Real growth happens underground. It's invisible, slow, and often painfully quiet. It's the relentless work you do when no one is there to validate you, cheer you on, or even notice. Think about a farmer planting seeds. Does he dig them up every day to check if they've grown? Does he scream at the soil demanding faster results? Of course not. He trusts the process. He waters the ground. He weeds the field. He waits. And one day when the time is right, those seeds explode into a harvest that feeds nations. Your work is no different. But here's the challenge. Trusting the process requires faith. It requires you to believe in something you can't yet see, to keep showing up, even when doubt whispers, is this even worth it? Even when fear shouts, you're wasting your time. Even when impatience screams, give up already. Let me ask you, what separates those who succeed from those who quit? It's not talent. It's not luck, it's trust. Trust that every late night, every sacrifice, every unseen effort is adding up. Trust that the universe rewards consistency, not shortcuts. Trust that the invisible work is building something extraordinary even if you can't see it yet. I think of the artist who paints 100 canvases before creating a masterpiece. The entrepreneur who fails a dozen times before launching a breakthrough. The athlete who trains for years before standing on the podium. Did they know when their moment would come? No. But they trusted the process. They knew that success wasn't a lottery. It was a guarantee for those who refused to quit. So this year, when the doubt creeps in, when the silence feels suffocating, when you wonder if anyone will ever notice your work, remember this. The greatest achievements in history were built in the dark. The pyramids, the symphonies, the revolutions, they all started as invisible labor, as relentless, uncelebrated effort, as seeds planted in silence. Don't abandon your work because the results aren't immediate. Don't trade long-term greatness for short-term validation. Stay committed. Stay focused. And when the world finally sees what you've built, they won't just admire your success, they'll marvel at your discipline. They'll ask, how did they do it? And you'll smile, knowing the answer was always in the process. Because here's the secret. The process isn't the price you pay for success, it's the foundation. And the deeper you dig, the higher you'll rise. So keep planting, keep watering, Keep trusting. Your harvest is coming. Inspire through action. Your hard work and silence can become a beacon for others. How do you light a fire in someone else's soul? With speeches, with motivational quotes plastered on social media. No, you inspire through action, through the quiet, relentless work that screams, if I can do it, so can you. Why do we underestimate the power of leading by example? Why do we think inspiration requires a stage, a microphone, a viral moment? Let me tell you this, the most profound inspiration is silent. It's the parent who works 3 jobs without complaint, the artist who creates despite rejection, the student who studies while the world sleeps. These aren't just stories, they're invitations. Invitations to ask, what if I dared to try? Think about it, when you work hard in silence, you're not just building your own legacy, you're creating a blueprint for others. Your discipline becomes their courage. Your resilience becomes their hope. Your silence becomes a roar that whispers, keep going. It's possible. But here's the question. What if no one sees your struggle? What if no one applauds your effort? Does it still matter? Absolutely. Because inspiration isn't about who's watching, it's about who's learning. The colleague who notices your focus. The friend who admires your grit. The stranger who stumbles upon your story and thinks, maybe I can too. Let me ask you, who shaped your life? Was it the loudest voice in the room or the quietest worker in the corner? The one who told you what to do or the one who showed you how it's done? Action doesn't just speak louder than words, it echoes. It ripples through time, spaces, and generations long after the work is done. So this year, don't just tell the world you're capable, show them. Don't preach about resilience, live it. And don't demand followers, earn them. Because when you work hard in silence, you're not just chasing success. You're igniting a flame in others. You're proving that greatness isn't born from noise, but from the quiet, unyielding refusal to give up. And someday, when someone asks, who inspired you to keep going? They won't point to a slogan or a speech. They'll point to you, to your choices, to your grind, to the silent strength that said, follow me, I know the way. Because that's the power of inspiration through action. It doesn't just change lives, it multiplies them. And the best part, you don't have to say a word.